Welcome to the Recap Lunch Hour with Guff. It's me, Ryan McGuffey, on a Friday edition of the Recap Lunch Hour. And I wish that I could tell you that I come here with so much excitement. If you saw me yesterday or joined the show yesterday on the MLB trade deadline special at 4:30, thank you for being there. It was lively. It was lively. I'll put it that way. And I expect it to be just as fun today as we try to make sense. I mean, is it even possible to make sense of what the Cubs did at the trade deadline, or maybe didn't do at the trade deadline now as they open a series against the Baltimore Orioles at 1:20 at Wrigley Field, the first game since the passing of Ryan Sandberg. And the Cubs announced today that the All-Star game will in fact be at Wrigley Field officially. We've been talking about this for months. Officially, the MLB All-Star game will be at Wrigley Field in 2027. But what the F. And it's all brought to you by Hooters, originalhooters.com, the fine partner of us here at the Recap, and specifically the Recap Lunch Hour. Order.hooters.com, have it delivered straight to your office, to your front door. DoorDash will take care of that for you. You can certainly pick it up if you want. Get one of those Big Daddy mugs. I feel like you're going to need a few after what happened or didn't happen with the Chicago Cubs yesterday, and even the White Sox. I mean, the White Sox traded two players, Austin Slater 2 days ago, Adrian Hauser right before the deadline to the Tampa Bay Rays. That was a nice trade, but surprisingly, Luis Roberts still here. Surprisingly, Aaron Savale, Mike Talkman, and others. Let's get to the chat because I know it's already full and lively, and you guys are pissed off, and I understand why. Happy Friday, says Eric. That was a disappointment for the Cubs at the trade deadline. Could have gotten a high-end starter like the Castro edition, and the Cubs hosting the 27 All-Star game. And then we do the hello to Godfather, Clyde, Becky, the real Phil Sims, Breck Bear, etc. Thomas. So what if there's a lockout in 27, no All-Star game at Wrigley, right? The Cubs have been granted the All-Star game. If the All-Star game were to be wiped out, they would get a later date. It happened during COVID as well. Sometimes it wouldn't be the next year because of dates that have already lined up for other stadiums, but the Cubs would still get an All-Star game. That would be TBD. Very disappointing day from the real Phil Sims. Yesterday, Jed made it look easy for Tucker to leave. Now, why did they give him the extension? Now you have to earn that, and he hasn't. And I'll tell you what, there's been a lot of talk about, it's very clear now that Kyle Tucker will not be re-signed. Why would we say anything else? I thought for sure. I don't feel confident right now. It's the message to me, almost 24 hours later, since I was pissed off in the moment, is the same. And I was on WGN Sports. I was on GN Sports last night with Josh Friedman and Jarrett Payton, and said the same thing. Like, it's a signal that you don't care about winning the World Series and you care about getting in the dance and next year. So much talk about sacrificing and mortgaging, and you didn't go get the one in front of you. I understand that people are upset and they have every right to be, but making threats is completely uncalled for. We had people yesterday making threats on the show, on the trade deadline special, about making sure Jed keeps his head on a swivel and wanting his address. Uncalled for. Won't happen. I won't condone it. And if it continues, trust me, I'll take care of it in other ways. I don't want to be that guy, but come on, man. These are human beings. Phil says, I don't think there'll be a lockout. They definitely don't need a repeat of the 94 strike. I'm going to tell you what, right now, from everybody I've talked to in the game, especially the players, I mean, you saw what the story about Bryce Harper going head to head with the commish, Rob Manfred. The players are locked in. They have their heels in the dirt. They do not want to give money back, and I understand it. And it's not, they don't want to hear salary cap. And I know, like, we don't either. Like, we're not going to sit here and go, there should be a salary cap. We are not the common folk are not what they care about. If there's no baseball at all in 27, I think they will push it back to 28. I think it falls down a little bit after that. If there's no baseball in 27, does it even matter? Because I think the sport will be ruined if there's no baseball in 27. Classic was seeing Pritzker and Johnson sitting by each other. Pritzker smiling, Johnson so stoic because he knows he won't be in office to see it, no doubt. Then again, this is the same mayor the Bears played for a fool when all along they were going to Arlington Heights. This happened on his watch. Very sad. I don't want to get political here, Phil. I understand where you're coming from. I get you are upset, but at the end of the day, it was better than nothing. Definitely could have gotten one high-quality starter for sure. I don't think Willie Castro and a couple mid-relievers are better than nothing. I you know what? I guess in theory, yes, it's better than nothing. But you played in the shallow end of the pool. That's what you did. You played in the shallow end of the pool and you didn't hang with the big boys that are trying to win the real prize. Happy to eat my words come October. You better get there because Colin Ray's in this rotation. How the Cubs will respond on this homestand will tell a lot about the impact or lack of impact from yesterday for the Pods, Mets, and Phillies. They definitely put the NL on notice. What's going on, Landon? Phil, the Milwaukee series later this month will determine who wins the division, plain and simple. Hopefully the Cubs keep it close. Now, everyone's like, well, what did the Brewers do? Well, they didn't do anything. They added a couple of mids as well. Expected that. That's what's so disappointing about the Cubs. Need to take 3 out of 5. I think you may even need to do more than that. And you know me, I'm all about winning series, but come on. Swayze, absolute train wreck, bro. The season aligned perfectly for these guys to have a legit shot at the title, and management did little to help them. The front office politics pissed me off. Why did Hoyer get his extension before the deadline? I just don't get it. Yeah, I mean, I don't either. Why announce that 48 hours before the trade deadline, only to come find out that the biggest news the Cubs made this week is that they extended their president of baseball operations? A little baffling, but when you announce it, you got to wear it. Jed met the media yesterday and said he didn't want, this is what I was told. The Mackenzie Gore package would have been Matt Shaw, Jackson Wiggins, and Owen Casey. Matt Shaw, Jackson Wiggins, and Owen Casey would be the Mackenzie Gore package. That one I can get. I can understand. I side with Jed in that one. I do. I side with Jed. But you're telling me you got nothing? You got nobody for insurance? Like you couldn't get Adrian Hauser? The Sox got 3 players for Hauser. One's a lottery ticket, like former, kind of like a Miguel Vargas type. That's a great trade for the White Sox to get 3 players. They did exactly what they were supposed to do with Adrian Hauser. But nobody? If the Cubs were in 3rd or 4th place, I don't know. Becky, I think the answer is yes. I think they like the stability. I think Tom Ricketts likes having that guy there for 14 years. I hope they're not banking on Tyone or Assad returning to boost anything, because unless one of those guys turns into Greg Maddux, it's going to be an uphill climb when it didn't have to be. Shaking my damn head. Cubs officially announced Wrigley would host the All-Star game, but it's going to end up being 28 or 29 if Bryce Harper has anything to say about it. Right now, I fully expect them to be on strike. I do. Why would we? First of all, there's so much time between now and then. They don't want to, but the narrative, at least in the interim, is going to be a lot of both sides are putting their heels in the sand. Phil says, in all honesty, I hope that 5-game series against Milwaukee will actually mean something. That's what I just said. The extension gave them further from to disrespect the fans. They'll quit playing these games when fans stop filling up Wrigley. And some people like Jess said this yesterday, like, I'll cancel Marquee. Even though you've already been billed for August, the only way you guys could push back is don't show up, cancel tickets, cancel Marquee. I get it. I'm not telling you what to do. But right now, people are, it's a poll. I bet you it's a packed house today at Wrigley Field. Packed house. Phil gave mad props to Cap yesterday. Could have and should have gone ballistic. Yeah, check out the recap of the trade deadline. That's available on the channel right now in case you haven't watched it. Cap's not happy. Of course he's not. Because he and I, quite frankly, told you it was going to be different. That they were going to make moves. Becky says Hoyer and Ricketts are cheap. Hoyer doesn't want to win another championship. Becky, I think this is not, you got to go up the chain here to me. You got to go up the chain. This is not just a Jed Hoyer thing. You would think with them losing an ace at the start of the season, it would give them incentive to try and replace him at some point. But nope, typical Chicago franchise. And that's what I was saying yesterday. That how in this city can we have this much mediocrity amongst all of our sports teams? It's like they're all in bed together. I don't understand it. Jess is disgusted. Ricketts got what he wanted, got the All-Star game and more revenue coming in, got an extension for Jed, and got baseball that is good enough to fill the stands, all while being under the tax. And here's my guy. Here's our guy. The Godfather. He's earned his stripes. He told us for months it won't be different. So Godfather, the floor is yours. Godfather, I should bring you in one day as a guest. If you're in for that, you should let me know. I think we'd all be down for letting you have the floor for 5-10 minutes. I'm all in on Godfather being a part of the program. First thing I see on TV this morning is Ricketts announcing the Cubs will host the All-Star game in 2 years, trying to fake the fans off being mad. What a weasel. Still under the luxury tax, August 1st. That extension gave that clown the green light to focus on prospects, forget about being in the middle of the race. You were right, Godfather, because most likely that game won't even happen. What a weasel. I guess Owen Casey didn't get traded, so get him up here. August 1st, still under the luxury tax. Rest my case. I should have started the show with this comment because you knew it was coming from Godfather. You earned it, Godfather. You've earned it. Phil knows. By the way, it's August 1st. Wow. Swayze, hey, Godfather. Anyway, anyone who didn't heed what you've been saying all year needs to apologize ASAP. There were definitely a method to your madness. You were right all along, bro. You were right. Why is Cap so mad? Well, he's pissed, but he was sitting there preaching with us. By the way, check that out. The fam had that made for me. Isn't that great? Mike, what does a Cub fan do now when he wants his beloved team to win, but absolutely hates their front office and doesn't want their weak, pathetic, cowardly approach to be validated? The only way is that you push back by punishing yourself, really, and not watching or not going. Jonathan, I'll be honest with you, dude. It's still a little sore after yesterday. Had the lunch hour, then we had an hour during the trade deadline. A lot going on. Got to have it with the agua. Thanks for asking. Bird Dog. Apparently the Padres, Mets, Yankees, and Mariners have a different definition of all in than the Cubs do. Awesome comment. Awesome comment. If a lockout prevents a 27 All-Star game at Wrigley Field, the game would likely be postponed to a later date. The exact year of rescheduling would depend on whether other cities. Yeah, it's literally exactly verbatim what I said. Clyde is coming in hot. The Cubs need to fire Jed Hoyer 3 days after announcing a 5-year extension. Well, that ain't happening. Then what was the point of offering him the extension? That's why everyone was safe from the get-go. What's up, CPO? The Padres, in my opinion, had the best deadline. Also, why didn't the Cubs make an offer on Robert Suarez? Well, it had to be a great offer. The Padres, I thought that when they got Mason Miller, that they would be moving Suarez and or Cease, and instead they went opposite. They kept getting more players and said, we're going all in. Now they're shortening the game. My God. You get through 6 innings as a starter in San Diego with a lead. Game, set, match. Phil, should they not win the World Series in the next 4 years, the Cubs will definitely be a civic embarrassment. You've been waiting to use that. You've been using that all week. And Phil, the floor is yours, my friend. Civic embarrassment. Yep. Baseball toss. What do you think about Getz saying they will spend this offseason $100 million contract soon? I don't know if they'll spend $100 million on someone. They have to spend. And it's an interesting group of players going forward. They only traded Hauser and Slater. I feel like this is going to happen. They're 11 games back right now of the Minnesota Twins. I think the White Sox will finish with a better record than the Minnesota Twins after they traded 9 players yesterday. I think the White Sox will not be in last place at the end of the year. And by spend, they need a veteran pitcher. They may need 2, not 1-year guys. They may need a multi-year guy. They're probably going to need some type of outfielder. You got to make sure Braden Montgomery's not coming up here too early. So I'm glad he said that, but I fully expect 2027, when there could be no baseball, to be that window open for the White Sox. Jay True, did the Cubs do anything? I blacked out and used 4 lifts for safety. Jay True yesterday, after watching the trade deadline special, was saying, I think I need to go black out. And I said, well, as long as you're taking care of yourself and the keys are nowhere near you. Looks like we just got him. He just woke up. Jay True, the Cubs announced they got an all-star game, but they have not announced the acquisition of a stud player, unfortunately. Kurt, they didn't make a splash at the deadline because Jed got comfortable again with that extension. Becky, to host in the years following. Okay, so Becky's giving us the rules about 2027 and a lockout and all-star games, etc. Godfather, Ricketts can now buy the rest of the rooftops. He makes me sick. Mariano, thanks for being here. Jed says, if Tyone and Assad are themselves, we are a major market. Saying if. Agreed. Al, my guy, does Jerry and Ricketts have the same financial advisors? No, because at least in the past, Ricketts has spent both on the ballpark and on his roster. But currently, he may have switched over. He'll just end up buying all of Wrigleyville. Shaking my head, says Jess. Oh, hey, Clyde. Clyde, it's the 11 Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Hooters. It's not Northwest Indiana right now. It's not. I'm sorry. It doesn't include those. That's why I always forget them and ignore you, even though I played your bogus comment already that the Cubs should fire Jed Hoyer. You know what? Clyde, you need to go to one of those Hooters locations and get yourself a Big Daddy mug. Sit down from 11 to 3 and have the original lunch specials, the OG wings, the boneless wings, the burger, the snow crab legs. I don't know if they've been extended. I usually get my email for the monthly. It's August 1st. We have a new drink of the month, but the Big Daddy mugs are still a-flowing with Sam Adams Summer Ale, Kona Big Wave, Mango Cart, and the Michelob Ultra. Order.hooters.com to have it delivered straight to your office or door from DoorDash, or you can pick it up and have a mug before you take off. OriginalHooters.com. Find one of the 11 Chicagoland locations near you. Keep on ignoring Clyde as we continue on the program. And I'll just say this. The comments are flowing. The last couple of days, this whole week, you guys, has been awesome here on the Lunch Hour. I cannot thank you enough. We have a lot of newbies that have joined the show, but all of you OGs, you're still here. And you know that. Your comments are here, and you guys know we are a family that started together, and we're extending. We're moving the chains. David says the Cubs have become the Bulls, doing just enough to get into the playoffs, only to go out in the first round. The future is now. My guy Thompson Needus, an all-timer. Just a wellness check, Guff. After yesterday, am I good? Smile on my face, breathe in the air. Even though the air quality sucks here, I'm all good, my man. Good to be here. Thank you for being here. Corey, Cubs did enough to slide into the playoffs. I don't see them re-signing Tucker. The Ricketts continue to show me nothing. Chicago Tribune 2.0. That's where we've gone. We have fallen so far to say that Tom Ricketts is being compared to the Tribune Company. Woo! The Tribune Company won exactly 0 World Series, didn't renovate Wrigleyville, but you shouldn't be just rest on your laurels either. You shouldn't. Next year is the 10th anniversary of the 2016 Cubs. That's insane. The 20th anniversary of the White Sox this year, the 10th next year. We're back to 30 years of combined misery. The Cubs are an unserious organization, says TJ. They proved everything that the naysayers have been saying about them correct yesterday. Retro extreme. Once Jed got a new contract, the pressure was off. Lip Ripper, happy Friday, brother. On not moving Robert, the only hope is that he has a great second half. We can bundle him in a package at the winter meetings. Sure. I'm fully curious to see what type of second half he has. Does he ride the best month of baseball he's had in 2+ years? Or does he look like the chase rate guy who doesn't give a shit, injury-prone center fielder we've seen the last 5 years? That's why I could care less about the package back for Robert. I would have moved on. Dan goes Sox. TJ, let's remember what is important to the Cubs and ownership. They say, or they still have most of the Bellinger salary dump money in their pocket. Yeah. And I thought they were spending that. I thought we were told that they were spending that. Jed did such a poor job yesterday that if he had not announced his extension yet, people would be calling for his job today. Maybe that's why they announced the extension. Now we're talking it out here. Maybe that's why. Roger, I do appreciate your take, Guff. I can tell you're as upset about yesterday, and we're all in this together. Roger, appreciate you being here, my friend. Retro, I knew Jed was going to hide behind the Tyone and Assad excuse that they'll be back soon. Even if those guys are healthy, they're mid. They're 3 through 5 in the rotation. I mean, they give you depth and innings and length. We're talking about playoffs here. Playoffs. Hey, Clyde, ignoring your ass again. Willie Castro should play third base for the Cubs. He was an all-star. He was at one point. More of a super utility guy. Lake Trout Larry, this was freaking asinine, dumbfounding, and insulting to Cubs fans. Don't piss down my back and tell me it's raining, Jed. Woo! Lake Trout. Still not happy, and I get it. If the Cubs get bounced one round of playoffs, they should blow it up and build around PCA. I mean, think about what we're saying here. My, have they fallen. Kurt, it's the same crap as last offseason. They got Tucker, could have added the frontline starter then, and they cheaped out. Same thing at the deadline. Terry, Jed's message in his presser was clear. There's a time to focus on just right now, and there's times to focus on the future. He's not all in on this year. He's not. How can you say he is? Why should we care about the stupid All-Star game at Wrigley when ownership does not care about the fans outside of getting their money? I mean, these are fair questions. Tough day to announce the All-Star game. Right? Isn't that a tough day? Hey, here's our guys that make no one excited, our new Cubs. Said the goal is to be good. Here's the good thing. It's a new month. So does that mean Kyle Tucker gets back on track? He had a pretty awful July. Can he get back on track? Soggy Kid, welcome to the chat. Cubs are more interested in 2027 All-Star game capacity than winning in 2025. Luke, yesterday was pretty stressful and disappointing, but I'm over it today and ready to move on. Our offense seemed to have woken up last game out of the funk, so we just got to play good ball from here on. Kurt, will MLB teams open up their books if it gets some kind of cap? I don't see ownership agreeing to opening their books. I know that's frustrating. I don't see ownership saying, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and open up our books and start so people publicly can start criticizing us even more. I don't see it. I know that might sound frustrating, but I don't see it. I wonder if we'll actually hear from Hoyer this weekend. I bet he went on vacation today. He spoke yesterday. He spoke after the trade deadline. Gregorio, I think Cade Horton will establish himself as a good number 3 this second half. He's kind of been forced into doing so. That's the problem. He's kind of been forced into doing so. Unfortunately. I've boxed up my Cubs gear, says Jimmy. Wow, he's ready for football now. Which, by the way, Caleb Williams, a great story on Waddle Sylvia. It'll be in the recap rush hour later today about it. Something that happened at practice when his helmet radio went out. Astros, happy August. Cubs are a D- for the deadline. Minor moves, including releasing Brujan and Presley. Boo. Just canceled Marquee last year after the slump early, and I just canceled it yesterday after Jed did nothing. I'll use that $20, get some wings at Hooters when football starts. Good for you, Jess. That's what I'm talking about. Jess did something. Is it going to matter to the Ricketts that one person pulled the plug? It should. If more of you do it, it matters. They're moving to the platinum tier, by the way. Did you see that? Come October, they're moving up to where CHSN is. It's going to cost you even more than $20 now. Just FYI, throwing that out there. They're moving up to the platinum tier. Retro, the fact that Casey didn't get traded tells me that Cubs won't re-sign Tucker. To be fair, Tucker isn't worth $400 to $500 million. PCA, Suzuki, and Bush have better stats. I hope he takes a lower offer. I don't know if that's true, Retro. I think he gets $400 million. Tom Ricketts Walls, says Lake Trout Larry. I hear you. Brewers are the team to beat in the National League with the Dodgers. What did Hoyer and Hawkins do to warrant an extension? Tucker will be 1-year rental like we all knew. Godfather, the wisest of us all. Jim, Cub organization wants to win, but on their terms. I think that's true. Jimmy, between the Jed extension, the non-deadline, the recent Marquee BS, I'm done. Becky, yeah, this is the first game without Rhino. So I think it's awesome that the Cubs are wearing Sandberg throwbacks tomorrow. All players will wear the number 23 tomorrow. I think it's amazing. Jonathan, why are the White Sox willing to pay Robert? They're hoping that they can spend. They're paying him this year, and their payroll is like $65 million. So they're committed to really nothing except him and Benintendi. I'm with you. They're trying to catch lightning in a bottle. That's why he's the Godfather. Have him on, and we'll tune in. I think I'm in for it. You had the Cubs hierarchy in your studio months ago, and they said they'd be all in if the team was in position at the break. What happened? I feel like we need to get him back in to ask them that. How come media always talks to the GMs, but Carter never talks? I don't know. But keep in mind, Theo spoke when Jed was in the same chair all those years ago. Jed, it was all Theo doing this speaking. Sutcliffe and Dawson are at Cubs pregame. Maybe suit them up. That's pretty cool. Dodgers, Yankees World Series. Alan thinks it'll be a rematch. 2016 championship rings were too expensive, and Ricketts don't want to spend on any more. Cubs and Sox could not work out a deal to get Talkman back. Unreal. Nice, like that thermos. I know. I'm sorry. These comments, you guys, I mean, it's unbelievable. I'm going to jump down. We're going to have the bet of the day here soon. Seems like the Sox are trying to outsmart themselves by not making any obvious moves. Seems like they're more worried about their overall. There's a lot of run on there going on. Guff, can you pull up and compare Bellinger and Tucker now as of August 1st? Sure. Kyle Tucker right now is 276, 18 homers, 61 RBI, 108 hits, 4.7 WAR, and an OPS plus of 155, 4.7 WAR. He's going to have a higher WAR than Cody Bellinger, I think. WAR 3.4 for Cody. He has 20 bombs, 2 more. So he's got 2 more homers, 2 more hits, and 2 more RBIs. He has a OPS plus of 132, which is 22 points lower than Kyle Tucker. So they're pretty, honestly, they're pretty equal, which is why I wanted to keep them both in the first place. It's a joke that they had to get rid of one to get the other. Even worse that it's the weekend to honor Rhino at Wrigley. Guff, what do you think of the Bears not wearing any throwbacks? I like it. I like just the classic Bears looks. Are the Cubs saving money for a Tucker extension? I think we're all in the same boat that it feels like it's unlikely they've re-signed him. It's on 2 football. Cubs would be a waste of time. Wow. I agree with Jess. No marquee and chicken wings instead. I can't wait to see you guys all at the next Hooters event. George, it's the owner there. Going to lose Tucker. Jed should have been fired or let go. No pitching there. Going to lose the division to Milwaukee. I'm giving up on my Cubs station. The Cubs owner is a joke. Rock, how many long-term deals are going to get done with the fear of the stoppage? It's a great question. Yankees just released Marcus Stroman. Watch Jed go after him now. I don't think that's going to happen. I'd be surprised, Matt. Not loved in the clubhouse. Good teammate, not loved. Good teammate, not loved. Bird Dog, how about Luther Burden, baby? Bears offense starting to click. They're saying Caleb's looking good at camp. Why not DFA Birdie and call up Casey? Age-Rock, that could happen. I think everything's on the table right now. Mike Rizzo needs a job. What did we expect? Fans pack the ballpark every game. Want to stick it to Jed and Tom? Boycott going to games. If we don't, they'll do it again and again, year after year. And that's where I'm saying, like, really? Sounds like the Cubs cannot afford Belly and Tucker. That's BS. I'm sorry. That is BS that they could not. Let's do the bet of the day. This is a jab to the Cubs to me, the bet of the day. Abbott for Cincinnati yesterday. By the way, did you see that Reds-Braves game? 8 runs in the top of the 8th by the Braves, 8 runs in the bottom of the 8th by the Reds. Insane. Abbott, however, needed 5 strikeouts. He was awful. I think he had 1. Another loss. 7-14 in July. I'm giving you 2. And this is a jab to the Cubs because of what has happened. Those are the 2 teams I feel like had the best trade deadlines. The Houston Astros and the San Diego Padres. Astros are at the Red Sox. Padres at home against the Cardinals. 2 separate plays here. We will also parlay them together. The Astros and the Padres. Man, don't you wish you were a fan of either? Because I'll tell you what, I'm going to ride the momentum of the trade deadline. Those are my picks. Moneyline picks. Astros minus 125. Padres minus 195. Moises was just option back to AAA. Really? That's BS. All this, he's untradeable. Come on. It's a joke. Looking forward to seeing practice at Family Fest at Soldier Field on Sunday. Don't forget about the disaster on Thursday with the Cubs. I do think, let's see what happens in the next 2 weeks. The Cubs could turn it around and they just at this point need as a team to look around to each other and say, okay, I guess it's us. Time to go and go like 16-8 in August. This like middling around stuff, just so we're on the same page here, by the way, the Cubs since, I'm going to see if I can look at this. There's a way you can look at so the Cubs, I'm looking at last year, unfortunately. 2025. They just finished July 14-10. They were 13-13 in June. They're 27-23 their last 50 games. Okay? 27-23 their last 50 games. They have a 99% chance to win or to make the playoffs. 99% chance, which quite frankly is not that. I mean, it's not surprising. So when you look at the expanded standings, which I'm trying to do here in the National League, okay. The Cubs here, last 30 games, Brewers are number 1. What's funny is the Cubs, the Miami Marlins, by the way, their last 30 games are 20-10. It's just been a very National League, which is why the Cubs are where they are. The Cubs have the 3rd best record their last 30 games in the National League, 17-13. Last 20, They're 10-10. The Reds, Mets, Padres, Marlins, and Brewers are the Brewers are 15-5. Their last 20 games. So the Cubs have been very average and have a shot. And that's what I'm saying. I think Michael Jordan's available. Cub fans love the team too much, and Ricketts takes advantage of that because he doesn't have to truly improve the team. Just call them the Bubs. They look like the Cub baseball team, but they smell like the Bulls. That's good, Jess. Guff, these last 2 months will determine if the Cubs are serious about going deep in the playoffs. Lip Ripper just placed a future on the Padres to win the World Series. I have a future on the Texas Rangers to win the World Series. They went out. They have the best pitching in baseball, and now they added Merrill Kelly. They were 35-1 the other day, the Texas Rangers. Okay. Now, Texas is 27-1. Padres have gone to 16-1. I like shopping in the middle of the pack here. Twins traded 40% of their roster. I really believe the White Sox will have a better record. Jay, the only hope is the September call-ups get hot and make the playoff roster, and Turner and company are left off. Yankees just cut Stroman. There's Jed's pickup. I know, folks. There's the bet of the day. We're riding the two teams, in my opinion, that had the best trade deadlines. Houston Astros, San Diego Padres, money line, the parlays plus 172. That's the bet of the day. If we win them both, we'll have our first winning week in quite some time. I'm looking forward to betting football soon. What a week. The comments are at an all-time high. The viewership's at an all-time high. People are pissed off. That's normal in Chicago sports. And I thank you. And for those of you that have reached out with your thoughts for the Guffs, I have not been very public about it, and I won't be. I hear you, I feel you, and I appreciate you. And Godfather, we're always thinking of you, my friend. For everybody at the recap, this puts a bow on the recap lunch hour for the week. Great week as we head into August, and now we start talking for real about postseasons, magic numbers, and playoff and the Chicago Bears. How about that? The perfect time of year. It's flipping August. Man, I love what's coming, and I hate the weather that's following it. For everybody at the recap, I'm Ryan McGovey. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other, guys. It's a big community here, and I love it. I love it. I love you guys, and I'm glad, Jay. And we like you, dude. Appreciate you, Jonathan. And Jed was at yesterday's prep. Looks like dying. That's actually pretty funny. You guys have a great weekend. Have a great Friday. Enjoy the weather. It's perfect. Could use a little better air quality. We'll come back on Monday. We'll have the recap rush hour today. We'll have recaps of the Cubs and Sox today, and of course, throughout the weekend. And then we're back to our regular scheduled programming here on the lunch hour on Monday. OriginalHooters.com. Visit one of the 11 Chicagoland locations near you. New drink of the month coming. New specials coming. I'll have them all for you on Monday. Order.Hooters.com is the other way to go. You guys have a great weekend. Take that, and we'll see you on Monday.